What if the one moment you tried to ignore was the moment that would change your life forever? Meet Nathan, a billionaire who had everything money could buy, yet treated people like they were nothing. Power, women, luxury, control. Love? He didn't believe in it anymore. Until one rainy night on the streets of Lagos changed his destiny. A homeless woman, a 1-year-old baby, a voice from the past he couldn't escape. This is not just a love story. It's a story of redemption, second chances, and how love can rise from the most unexpected places, even under heavy Lagos rain. Sit back and enjoy. If you love emotional stories, African romance, and life-changing moments, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Your support keeps these stories alive, and trust me, the next one will touch your heart even deeper. Nathan Blackwood did not believe in traffic. Traffic was for ordinary people, those who rushed to offices they didn't own, jobs they feared losing, and lives they barely controlled. Traffic was not meant for a man whose name could silence rooms and move markets. Yet there he was, stuck. Lagos rain poured like heaven had opened all its stored anger at once. The sky was dark, though it was barely evening, thunder rolling like a warning. Headlights reflected on flooded asphalt, horns cried in frustration, and street hawkers ran for cover. Inside the Range Rover, everything was calm. Soft jazz hummed from invisible speakers. The interior smelled of leather and expensive cologne. Ambient lights glowed faint gold, modern Nigerian luxury at its finest. Nathan leaned back, one arm resting lazily, eyes fixed on his phone. Numbers danced across the screen. Profits, acquisitions, power. A faint smirk curved his lips. People feared him. Women desired him. Money obeyed him. And he liked it that way. Nathan had built walls so high nothing human could climb them again. Love had once tried and failed. His fiancée had been the last person to see behind those walls. He had found her years ago, soaked in rain, begging on a street not so different from this one. He had saved her, lifted her, loved her, and just when he was ready to believe forever existed, she died. Since then, Nathan slept with women but never stayed. He smiled but never felt. He gave money but never cared. People to him were tools. "Sir," the driver said cautiously, breaking the silence. The rain done blocked everywhere. "This traffic fit take time." Nathan didn't look up. "I pay you to drive, not to predict weather." "Yes, sir," the driver replied quickly. The car rolled forward a few inches, then stopped again. Red light. Nathan exhaled sharply and finally looked outside. That was when he saw her. Under the unforgiving rain, she stood by the roadside, barefoot, wrapper heavy with water. Her skin glowed softly despite the dirt, creamy and fragile like something life had tried, but failed to destroy. One hand was stretched out, not aggressively, not dramatically, just tired. On her back was a baby girl barely a year old. The child's head rested weakly against her mother's shoulder, tiny fingers gripping cloth as rain soaked them both. Nathan's brows furrowed. He had seen beggars before, countless times. Lagos was full of stories nobody wanted to read. "Another beggar," he muttered, "everywhere." He was about to turn back to his phone when, "Nathan," his heart skipped. The voice wasn't loud. It wasn't inside the car speakers. It was inside him, clear, gentle, familiar. Help this woman begging with her baby. Nathan's blood ran cold. His phone slipped from his hand and hit the leather seat. "No," he whispered, "that's not possible." He turned his head sharply, scanning the car. "Did you hear that?" he asked. The driver looked confused. "Hear wettin', sir." Nathan swallowed hard. That voice had a name, a face, a memory. It belonged to a woman who was buried 6 feet under. Rain hit the windshield harder, as if the world was pushing him. Nathan's chest tightened. His heartbeat grew loud in his ears. He looked back at the woman again. She adjusted the baby slightly, shielding her from the rain with her own body. The baby whimpered softly. Something cracked. A memory flooded in. Another rain, another street, another woman who had once looked exactly this helpless. "Stop the car," he said suddenly. The driver stiffened. "Sir, for here?" "Stop the car," Nathan repeated, louder. A Range Rover came to a halt. The door opened. Rain rushed in. People gasped as Nathan stepped out. Expensive suit instantly ruined. Polished shoes sinking into water. Billionaires were not meant to walk in the storms. But Nathan didn't care. He walked toward the woman. She saw him and flinched, fear flashing across her face. She tightened her hold on the baby, ready to run. Nathan raised his hand slightly. "Please," he said, his voice lower than it had been in years. "I won't hurt you." She studied him, his watch, his confidence, his strange softness. Rich men didn't look like this when they mocked. "I just want to help," he continued. "Can you trust me?" Her lips trembled. Rain mixed with tears. I don't have anyone," she whispered. "Only my baby." Nathan stepped closer and bent slightly, meeting her eye level. "Then come with me," he said quietly. "Let me give you shelter." Thunder rolled above them. For a long moment the world held its breath. Then the woman nodded. And in that single nod, Nathan Blackwood's carefully controlled life began to unravel. The gates of Nathan Blackwood's guest house opened silently, swallowing the Range Rover into a world far removed from flooded streets and desperate prayers. Tall walls, soft yellow lights, palm trees swaying gently, untouched by the chaos outside. Aisha stepped out of the car slowly, holding her baby close. Her feet hesitated on the smooth-tiled floor, as if she feared the ground might reject her. Water dripped from her wrapper onto the spotless surface, and she instinctively tried to step back. "I'll dirty your place," she said in a small voice. Nathan turned to her, confused. "This place has seen worse than rain." She looked at him, unsure whether to believe that. Inside, the guest house reflected modern Nigerian interior design. Neutral tones, wooden accents, soft fabrics, and carefully placed art that spoke of wealth without screaming it. The air smelled of citrus and calm. Aisha's eyes widened. She had never been inside a place like this. Nathan handed Zara to the nanny gently. The baby stared at him with round eyes, then grabbed his finger. He froze. "She likes you," Aisha said quietly. Nathan cleared his throat. "She has poor taste." The nanny smiled, instantly relaxed. Nathan turned to the maid. Warm water, big tub, both of them. The maid blinked in surprise. "Sir?" "Now." "Yes, sir." Aisha shifted nervously. "You don't have to." "I do," Nathan interrupted, then softened his tone. "Please, you need it." She nodded, gratitude shining in her eyes. When the bathroom door closed behind Aisha, Nathan stood alone in the living room. Rain still tapped against the glass windows, but the silence inside was heavy. He loosened his tie and sat on the sofa. Memory struck him without warning. Another bathroom, another woman trembling from cold, another night he had played savior, his fiancée. He remembered how she had cried under warm water, how she had looked at him like he was a miracle, how he had promised her safety forever. Nathan's jaw tightened. "I failed you," he whispered to no one. From the bathroom came the sound of water and soft laughter. Zara giggled. The sound sliced through his chest. Aisha came out dressed in clean clothes the maid had prepared. Her hair was loosely wrapped, her face fresh, free of street dust and exhaustion. She looked younger, softer, real. Nathan stood when he saw her. For a brief second the room felt too small. "Thank you," she said, bowing her head slightly. "I don't know how to repay you." Nathan waved it off. "Don't bow. This isn't a shrine." She smiled faintly. Zara crawled toward him, wobbling. Nathan instinctively stepped back. "Oh no," he said, "I don't do babies." Zara laughed and promptly fell on her bottom. Aisha rushed forward. "Zara." "I'm okay," Nathan said quickly, surprising himself as he helped the baby up. "She's tough." Zara clapped, pleased with herself. Nathan shook his head. "She's already winning arguments." And Nathan noticed something strange. He liked that sound. Later that night, they sat at the dining table. The food was simple: rice, stew, soft chicken. But to Aisha, it felt like a feast. You can stay here for now, Nathan said casually. No pressure, no questions. Aisha hesitated. Men don't help without wanting something. Nathan met her gaze steadily. I already lost the thing I wanted. She didn't ask what he meant. Zara yawned loudly and fell asleep on Aisha's shoulder. Nathan watched them, a woman who had nothing, a child who trusted too easily, and a man who had everything but peace. As the night deepened, Nathan realized something unsettled him deeply. For the first time in years, his house didn't feel empty. Before Aisha, Nathan Blackwood ruled his world like a storm, loud, destructive, and untouchable. By day, he dominated boardrooms. By night, he dominated clubs. The streets of Lagos whispered his name: power, money, danger. In the clubs, he was a legend. Elegant women lined up, perfume trailing like a halo, high heels clicking on marble floors. Nathan never chased them, he waited. The ones who dared to approach him thought they had a choice. They didn't. He slept with beauty like some men collected stamps, effortless, fleeting, disposable. You don't call me, he said once to one of them, leaning back on the velvet lounge. She smiled nervously. Why would I? Nathan shrugged. I don't care. Neither should you. Women left his penthouse crying, angry, or broken. But Nathan never remembered their names. Names were irrelevant. Only appearances mattered. Even in the office, he carried the same arrogance. He could charm, flatter, and manipulate with one smirk. Some women hoped for love. Nathan handed them lust and power. Love, he believed, was a weakness. Sentimentality, a trap. Something he had once touched and lost so completely that he refused to try again. He had his late fiancée once. He had loved her fiercely, saved her, built a world around her, and the world had stolen her away. After that, he swore off hearts. Nothing mattered anymore, except control, money, women, power. Until the night Lagos rain poured over a woman and her child on the street. Until he heard that voice. Aisha wasn't elegance. She wasn't polished. She was real, fragile, desperate, and utterly untouchable by the rules of Nathan's empty kingdom. For the first time in years, his walls trembled. Everything he thought he knew about love, control, and himself was about to change. Because the man who had treated people like trash was about to discover that some hearts aren't meant to be broken, they're meant to be saved. Morning arrived gently. The kind of Lagos morning that felt almost apologetic after a night of chaos. Sunlight filtered through the wide glass windows of the guest house, dancing across polished floors and cream-colored walls. Nathan was already awake. He stood by the window with a cup of black coffee, watching the city breathe below him. Usually, mornings like this filled him with control, power, certainty. Today, he felt uneasy. Behind him, soft footsteps approached. Good morning, sir. He turned to see Aisha standing a few steps away. Zara balanced on her hip. The baby's hair stuck up in tiny rebellious curls. Nathan blinked. She looked different in daylight. Not fragile, not broken, just human. Morning, he replied. She sleep? Like she pay rent, Aisha said. Nathan snorted before he could stop himself. They both froze, surprised by the sound. Did I just make you laugh? Aisha asked, amused. Don't get used to it, he replied quickly. It was an accident. Zara reached out and tugged his shirt. Hey, Nathan said, gently prying her fingers away. This shirt costs more than my driver's car. Zara giggled. Nathan sighed. No respect. Later that day, Nathan insisted on taking them out. We need supplies, he said. Clothes, proper things. Aisha protested weakly. You've done too much already. Nathan grabbed his car keys. I haven't started. The boutique was quiet when they arrived. Staff stiffened the moment they recognized him. Sir, welcome. Nathan gestured toward Aisha. Everything she touches, add it. The sales assistant hesitated, then smiled brightly. Aisha's eyes widened. Nathan, no. Relax, he said. This isn't even emotional spending. Zara sat in a stroller, chewing on a designer tag. She has expensive taste, the sales assistant laughed. She's her father's daughter, Nathan replied automatically, then froze. Aisha raised an eyebrow. Nathan cleared his throat. She smiled softly and said nothing. They went to the beach later that afternoon. The ocean breeze lifted Aisha's hair as she laughed, Zara squealing as waves tickled her tiny feet. The nanny followed close behind, watching carefully. Nathan stood a few steps away, hands in pockets, observing. This scene was too familiar, too dangerous. He remembered another woman walking beside him at a different beach, remembered promises whispered over waves, remembered dreams that never lived long enough to grow old. Aisha noticed his silence. "You okay?" she asked. Nathan nodded. "Just thinking." "About what?" He looked at her, then at Zara, who had fallen asleep in the nanny's arms. "About how life repeats itself," he said quietly. Aisha tilted her head. "Maybe it repeats until we learn." The words hit him harder than he expected. That night, Nathan couldn't sleep. He walked into the guest room hallway and stopped. Aisha's door was slightly open. Inside, she sat on the bed, humming softly, while Zara slept beside her. Nathan leaned against the doorframe without entering. That hum. It was the same tune his fiancée used to sing. His chest tightened painfully. "You're not her," he whispered under his breath, but his heart didn't listen. He walked away quickly, retreating to his room, pressing a hand to his chest as if he could quiet the ghosts there. Nathan Blackwood had promised himself never to walk that road again. Yet with every passing hour, he was already on it. The penthouse changed everything. It wasn't supposed to. Nathan told himself it was just space, convenience, security. But space has echoes, and this one remembered too much. The penthouse sat high above Lagos, wrapped in glass and steel. From the living room, the city looked small, obedient, like it existed only to impress him. Inside, the design spoke fluent modern Nigerian luxury. Warm wooden panels, abstract art from local galleries, soft earth tones mixed with bold textures, and lighting that made every corner feel intentional. Aisha stood near the window, Zara on her hip, staring down at the city. "So this is how the world looks from here," she murmured. "Overrated," Nathan replied, loosening his cufflinks. "You still can't escape people." She smiled. "You sound tired of them." "I am." Zara tapped the glass with her tiny fingers. "Don't worry," Nathan said seriously. "Bulletproof." Aisha laughed. "Even the windows are richer than me." Nathan glanced at her. "Not anymore." The words slipped out before he could stop them. Silence followed. Aisha looked away, uncomfortable. "I don't want people to think—" "I don't care what people think," Nathan cut in, then softened. "And you shouldn't either." The staff noticed before anyone else. The way Nathan slowed his steps when Aisha spoke. The way Zara sat comfortably in his arms during breakfast meetings. The way laughter, real laughter, began to echo through rooms that once felt cold. But where attention grows, jealousy follows. Two maids whispered near the kitchen island. "Oga don change-o. After Madam die, him no day look anybody like this. Now see as him day smile again." Another maid added quietly, "Not so he start last time." The words spread like smoke. The first confrontation came subtly. A woman from Nathan's office, tall, polished, dangerous in heels, visited unannounced. She walked in, stopped short, and stared. Aisha was on the couch, Zara asleep against her chest, cartoons playing softly. The woman's smile stiffened. "Oh, I didn't know you were entertaining." Nathan emerged from his study. "You didn't have an appointment." She laughed lightly. "Since when do I need one?" Her eyes flicked to Aisha. "And who is this?" Aisha stood awkwardly. "I'm family," Nathan said simply. The woman's face hardened. "Oh," she said slowly, "so this is what replaced us." Nathan's eyes darkened. "You're done here." She scoffed. "Careful, Nathan, you're repeating history." The words struck like a slap. Nathan stepped closer, voice low. "Leave." She left, but the damage lingered. That night Aisha couldn't sleep. She stood on the balcony, city lights reflecting in her eyes. Nathan joined her, handing her a cup of tea. "You're quiet," he said. "Your world is heavy," she replied honestly. "I don't want to be the reason people hate you." Nathan leaned against the railing. "People hated me long before you." She looked at him. "Then why do their words still hurt?" He didn't answer. Below them, Lagos pulsed, alive, unforgiving, watching. Inside the glass penthouse, two people stood between past and present, neither willing to say what both were afraid to admit. Because this time, there was a child involved, and love was no longer just a risk, it was a responsibility. The night was quiet. Not the restless Lagos kind, but the deep, suspended silence that only exists high above the city, where traffic sounds fade into distant murmurs and lights blink like tired stars. The penthouse was dim, lit only by soft wall lamps and the glow of the city beyond the glass. Zara slept peacefully in her room, the nanny close by. For the first time since Aisha arrived in Nathan's life, they were alone. Nathan stood by the window, shirt unbuttoned, staring at his reflection layered over the city. He looked powerful as always, but tonight something in his posture was uncertain. Aisha watched him from the bed. "You always look like you're fighting something," she said softly. Nathan turned. "I've been fighting myself for years," he admitted. She rose slowly and walked toward him barefoot on the cool floor. "I don't want to replace anyone," she said. "I don't want to be a memory." Nathan's jaw tightened. "You're not." He reached out, stopping just short of touching her. "I'm scared," he admitted, "because the last time I felt this, I lost everything." Aisha placed her hand over his. "Maybe this time," she whispered, "you're not meant to lose." The space between them disappeared. Their kiss wasn't rushed. It wasn't hungry. It was hesitant, searching. Two broken people asking the same silent question. "Is this safe?" Nathan pulled back slightly, resting his forehead against hers. "If you say stop," he shook his head, "I won't." They moved to the bed slowly, like time itself had slowed for them. Nathan touched her as if she were fragile, as if one wrong move might shatter something precious. Aisha cupped his face. "I'm not made of glass." He smiled faintly. "I am." Their laughter was soft, nervous, and real. When they finally lay together, it wasn't about desire alone. It was about warmth, about being chosen, about finding comfort in another heartbeat after years of cold nights. Nathan held her close, her head resting against his chest. For the first time since his fiancée's death, sleep came without ghosts. Morning light crept in gently. Aisha woke first. She watched Nathan sleep, his face relaxed, unguarded, almost boyish. This was a man the world feared, yet here he was, peaceful because she was beside him. She traced his shoulder lightly. Nathan stirred. "If you disappear before breakfast," he murmured, eyes still closed, "I'll assume this was a dream." She smiled. "I don't run." He opened his eyes and looked at her. Something changed in that moment. Not passion, not fear, decision. Down the hall, Zara laughed in her sleep. And Nathan Blackwood realized this wasn't history repeating itself. This was a new story being written. Nathan Blackwood thought he had seen it all. Wealth, power, women at his feet. But the streets of Lagos have a way of surprising even the untouchable. Aisha and little Zara have changed everything. Or have they? Whispers are spreading. Jealousy is rising. And the ghosts of Nathan's past aren't done with him yet. Will he protect the new life he's building? Or will the mistakes of his old world come crashing back, tearing everything apart? The next chapter will reveal secrets, betrayals, and a storm Nathan may not survive. If you're hooked on Nathan and Aisha's story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next twist in this intense Lagos romance. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.